In memoriam of Grant Imahara, MythBusters, died July 13th, 2020. What are some of your best memories of him? He replied to a tweet my then small son and I had drafted together after watching a MythBusters episode. Made our week. What was the tweet? It was, what is your theory on D's? Huh, D's? Theory on D's what? D's nuts. Got 'em boys. If this doesn't work, I will eat my multi-toolkit. It didn't work. He went over what they got wrong, and then said, and I get to choose how I eat my multi-toolkit. Maybe deep fried, with a little bit of powdered sugar. I also recall, when they were testing how many times you could fold a piece of paper, Grant opted to try it using tracing paper, which was still technically paper, and Tori teased him for cheating. I loved how his solution was always building a robot. Whenever he had an idea you could tell the next words were going to be, we are going to build a robot. In one of their Reddit ammers, question was, do you ever think about making your own working Iron Man suit? Grant's response, every day. Every time there was an explosion. Just the sheer look of pure joy and excitement on his face. He was like a little kid with a new toy every episode. You could just tell he genuinely enjoyed what he did, how he did it, and the overall experience he could share with his co-hosts/friends, as well as educating people around the world. He had the golden heart of a child who loved to blow things up. He will be missed. 3. Yeah, he really seemed to enjoy every minute of it. Man, I'm going to miss him. One of my favorite reactions of his was when they were testing whether playing dead or thrashing around will prevent sharks from swimming around you. When he was the person who would be thrashing around, he freaked out majorly when something touched his leg. My main memory of him was all of the awesome robots he built in the show. I was really into robotics at the time, and still am. And watching him build all of these awesome robot creations like the one they used to try to curve bullets or the full-sized RC bus. R.I.P. Grant. You will be missed greatly in the science community. Hey help, something just touched my leg. Oh god, and Discovery played that hey help as often as they could, and I loved it every single time. Him smelling Adam's feet and breath for science, and then laughing every single time. I liked his laugh. R.I.P. Robot Builder Imahara. I just realized what a great name for a spaceship would be as tribute. I think I'm going to tweet at James Corey to designate a ship the Imahara in whatever future Expanse novel will allow for it. Go big or go home. Let's tweet this shit at NASA. Tweet it at Elon Musk. He'll actually do it. He responded to my comment on a mutual friend's Facebook post to say of my explanation of hydrophilic tendencies that I couldn't have said it better myself. It made me feel so smart and validated, and pretty starstruck, too, that this science legend would take the time to comment on something so mundane. That's super cool. Do you still have the explanation, by chance? The lie detector test. Have you ever wanted to make a female robot? When he said no, his readings were off the charts. Probably lied because he knew it would be funny. Jeff Peterson. Craig Ferguson may have had the idea, but Grant made him real, so that Josh Robert Thompson could bring him to life. Without Grant, some of the greatest conversations in late night TV could have never happened. Came here for this. Completely agree with your last sentence. Craig/Jeff banter was always hilarious. 2 words. Wilford Brimley. Careful. Icarus. They were testing agitated driving vs relaxed driving. Grant and Tori would drive through a closed course in an abandoned suburb while relaxed, and again while agitated. They were testing whether angry driving makes you use more gas. Before the relaxed test, they got nice massages, and then engaged in a relaxing activity. Tori watched Blade Runner. Grant, his relaxing activity was petting puppies, and he was just ecstatic when he first laid eyes on the puppies. A man who gets that excited about puppies is someone with a kind heart. For those that want to watch that episode, it's in the 2008 season, episode 103, Exploding Steak. Link in description. I had no idea this happened until just now. That breaks my heart, because I grew up loving MythBusters, and I loved watching the build team do science. Honestly, the whole show was just fun to watch and educational. Grant seemed like a fun guy, and you could tell that he loved his job. He will absolutely be missed. I don't have any specific memories of him, but I have tons of memories of watching MythBusters as a kid. I still love it. What happened BTW? Aneurysm. Damn. his joy, his absolute joy in learning and crafting and explaining, in education and in the world, and the absolute brotherly love that he showed everybody, and the way he would get so excited when they would dress up in costumes, James Bond episode, pirate episode, etc. I liked knowing that all of them were still out in the world creating and doing good, and now one of them is gone. Not to rain on your parade, but Jess Combs from MythBusters also passed tragically. When did Jess die? 2019. In exactly the way you'd expect a MythBuster to die, jet-powered car crash while attempting to set a land speed record. But the record was verified in June 2020, and she now holds the women's land speed record. Technically she held it before she actually broke her own record. Oh, I just found this out. He was fun and clever on MythBusters, but I especially enjoyed his work on BattleBits. What a shame. He was really creative, skilled, and had a decent bit of life left to go. Fuck 2020. A few months ago, he built an animatronic Baby Yoda to take to children's hospitals. He used plans that were made available for free, then donated a bunch of toys to a Glendale fire station's toy drive in gratitude. I donated a few toys. I do not make electrical engineer money lol to my local fire station's toy drive in gratitude to him. I grew up loving MythBusters, but the one that really sticks out comes from White Rabbit Project. It's in their superpowers episode, when he gets hooked up to the Tesla coils and controls the electricity. The joy that he got from that was contagious. Anytime that he was happy, it made me happy. I wish that Netflix would have picked that show up for a second season. But the fact that they didn't is alright. I heard about his death at 2 AM this morning, and was saddened before falling asleep. But now I'm determined to encourage people to live with that joy. In San Francisco there's this thing called the Dickens Fair. Sort of like a Ren Fair, but for the Victorian era. I was probably 13 or so, and I was there with my dad, having a great time, looking at old fancy violins. When I look over and there he is, fully in costume with a long black coat and a top hat. I was absolutely starstruck. He was kind of surrounded by people, so my dad thought it best not to go over and bother him. I wish I had. He was giving everyone a smile, and seemed to be enjoying conversation with strangers. MythBusters was probably the single most important TV show for the development of my young self, and even though it had gone off the air at this point, I think it held a very important place in my heart. It still does, and I'll miss him, and what he brought to science and entertainment for wide-eyed nerds like me. When he made the robot cat, and screamed "It's alive! It's alive!" as its gross robotic limbs idled back and forth. I think it was for a heist episode to try to trick a guard dog. Ike. Yelling fucking A, and never having it censored even after numerous repeats. Where was that? The beer before liquor episode. His face the morning of the last test I think was priceless. Also when he was actually hungover. A lot of the time TV hosts don't show that much humanity, or at least that side. As far as MythBusters go, the vast majority of the myths ended up being something I'd never use, or a cool did you know. That myth actually helped me understand drinking habits and their effects. One of the few myths they did that I actually think about on a monthly basis. That and Hwacha. Hwacha. It's an ancient Korean multi-rocket launcher. Link in description. Something so effective that we still have similar versions today. My bad on the spelling, but you know the moment I'm talking about. Literally everything about him. He made science look so fun, and was rightly an inspiration to many people. He played Sulu in Star Trek. Continues. A good man. I don't know why we keep losing good people like Imahara, while complete pieces of shit continue to draw breaths. I genuinely felt for him every time they used him as a guinea pig on MythBusters. The only one who got seasick, the only one who tests cures for seasickness. He also built the most complicated parts of the rigs, with the actuators and RC units and such. More prone to failure than anything. You could see the pressure on him at times. If I remember correctly, he did not get a hangover. Years of engineering at college. I saw him dressed as Glenn from The Walking Dead at DragonCon in maybe 2012, 2014. I can't find the damn picture, though. Apparently, later, he got completely shit-faced and some of my other friends saw him getting manhandled back to his room. See, he was just like some of us. His true enthusiasm for what he did. And his genuine smile, that always conveyed how much fun he was having. how much he hated the fish touching him, and how much I related to that. My irrational fear of fish has gotten me made fun of multiple times in my life. It was very validating to see a Mythbuster of all people shared my fear. Every time he turned a full-size vehicle into an RC vehicle. The glee he had whenever he could remote control a full-sized car makes me smile even thinking of it now. Got him. This sucks so bad. Grant was always a great guest on Will Wheaton's tabletop YouTube show. I remember the Breaking Bad special, featuring Aaron Paul and Vince Gilligan when the B-team was testing the fulminated mercury myth. I have a vivid image of Grant imitating Victor Frankenstein as he gives life to the fulminated mercury launcher. Aaron Paul's reaction to Grant's monologuing as he was walking in a hallway outside the room was hilarious. My mom passed away of a brain aneurysm as well at the age of 49. Mythbusters kept me going through grad school and cheered me up when life was shitty. He was an absolute legend. Love the guy. I know it was in the intro for a while, but the holy crap run, when they were launching Coke and Mento rockets always made me laugh. This relates more to Mythbusters than to Grant in particular, though his role in it certainly made the whole thing better, and even though it's been years since I watched the show, I do remember him, his character, and how he made it better. I was sitting at home for weeks on winter break as a kid. For some reason my testicles hurt so terribly, and I couldn't even move off of the couch, and I was too shy to tell my mom and get it checked. About 5 years later, when it happened again they found out it was a torsion and I needed surgery. But even in the miserable agony, boredom, and disappointment of being stuck at home all winter break on a couch as I was sick, extremely constipated, weird side effect of a torsion I guess, and bored, somehow it still became a pleasant memory for one reason. Mythbusters. It wasn't really my go-to show, but they were doing some sort of marathon all week, so it was the only thing that was consistent and good. And after the first day I got really into it such that I stopped looking for other things to watch. Somehow all these years later I look back on that week or two and remember it fondly. That's pretty high praise. The ability to turn testicular torsion into a fond memory lol.